If you're ready for a little adventure, you've found the right place. Welcome to New Day Cleveland. I'm David Moss, and we are on the road again to a national park, the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. Right in between Akron and Cleveland, a little town called Peninsula. Used to be a big town, honky-tonk bars, saloons, hotels. They even built canal boats here. But the railroad came along, and all of a sudden, it was a small little quiet town. Well, now it's a town that's perfect for New Day Cleveland because we're going to find places with food, with beautiful gifts. We're even going to get a chance to ride the train. That's right, all aboard for the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Tour.
Welcome aboard. Watch your step for me, please.
So the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad is a historic railroad that runs throughout Cuyahoga Valley National Park. And we run from Rockside Station up in Independence to our Akron North Side Station down in Akron. And we have 3 main boarding stations, which are Rockside, Peninsula, and Akron. The whole loop of the train ride is 26 miles, and you are going to see, all the sights that Cuyahoga Valley National Park has to see. The train follows along with the Cuyahoga River, and you can also see things like the Beaver Marsh and even Eagle's Nest. So we operate with a partnership with Cuyahoga Valley National Park. So they own and maintain our tracks. And it's a really great partnership because we just help each other out. And it's really great to be here in Peninsula. We're right next to Trail Mix. People can stop in there, they can grab a map, they can get all the souvenirs they want. We even have Cuyahoga Valley National Park volunteers come on board for our rail roving program and talk to kids and interact with them about the wildlife in the national park and the history of the park in Ohio. So our regular running National Park Scenic excursion is 3.5 hours, and it takes you the length of the tracks in Cuyahoga Valley National Park. With a coach all-day pass, people can board the train and get off the train at any station they want. It acts as an all-day pass, so it's a really great opportunity to board at Rockside or Akron and get off at Peninsula and explore what Peninsula has to offer. So we have our bike aboard program, so that's where you pay $5. You board the train, we load your bikes, you take the train down to wherever you want to get off, and then you bike back to your original point where you started. We have a map online that tells you the mileage between stations, so it's really easy. We also have our beer and wine tasting trains, and those are a lot of fun. We offer those about once a month. We also have our Friday night event trains, so we offer bingo and trivia on the train. We also have murder mystery programs, which are really popular, canvas and wine, and we also do mixology classes. If you're brand new to the railroad, the area, or if you even just want to explore, what Cuyahoga Valley National Park has to offer, climb aboard our National Park Scenic. It gets you introduced to the train, the park, and then you can see what other events we offer and maybe something that you might like our Family Fun Loop, which is a shortened ride for kids and families. It's really special to be a part of something that is unique to Ohio. Cuyahoga Valley National Park is Ohio's only national park, and to be able to operate such a great experience for people, something that is so unique, and we just purchased California Zephyr cars, and that is a really unique experience that we're bringing to passengers that they don't have the opportunity to, even kind of in the tri-state area. So it's a very unique organization, and it's a great place to work, and it's so fun to just get on the train in the summer and just enjoy the ride. Railroading has shaped America's past, and it's something that older generations can share with younger generations and foster that sense of exploration and adventure and wonder. And so it's really special to see young kids with their faces pressed against the glass, just so excited to be on the train and see what Cuyahoga Valley National Park has to offer.
If you want to ride the Cuyahoga Valley Scenic Railroad, there are 3 boarding stations. Okay, you get off the train, right? You want to stretch your legs a little bit, do a little shopping? Just a place. It's the National Park Gift Shop. It's called Trail Mix.
We have stores like this, Trail Mix, where we provide services to the park goers. We have great snacks and food here. We have items for your children, park memorabilia. There's a need to service our visitors and be here for the people when they come to the park and are enjoying. So we wanted to have a place where you could come in and purchase anything that reminded you of your trip, or to take back, or to gift, or stop in and have a nice cold ice cream on a hot day or a cold day, and then obviously good lunch snacks. And this is a way that people who don't necessarily live here or have that heartstring to the park, if they can give back to us, because this is run by the Conservancy. So the Conservancy is the nonprofit friends group for Cuyahoga Valley National Park, and we help bring in funding and programs that the Cuyahoga Valley National Park's budget would not otherwise allow. And we are able to provide environmental education, residential overnight programs, or day field trips for students, teachers. We have retreats. We bring in a lot of cultural arts programs, lots of concerts in our historic buildings throughout the park, and it doesn't end there. It was important for us not only as a first stop, but also as a last stop, because some people don't necessarily start at the trailhead, the start of it. They will start in Brecksville, or they'll start in Cleveland, whether they're riding their bikes down the towpath and they're coming down south, whatever the case may be. But this provides a good starting point and a good ending point, because whether you're starting and you need information, we have those resources available to you. If you're ending here and you need a drink to recover, or something to remember your towpath bike ride or your experience in our national park, that's what we can give to everyone. We have lots of Cuyahoga Valley National Park apparel, children's books, children's toys. We have lots of great educational, environmental educational pieces for children. Great books, animals, apparel. We have lots of local artists who come in and they work with our trail mix managers to create deals and bring in their handcrafted local jewelry or artwork, whether it's photographs or paintings or mixed media. Great snack selection. I mean, Mitchell's Ice Cream is one of our biggest vendors here, and we carry dozens of flavors all year round, so that's always awesome. We are not the visitor center. We do have a visitor center in the national park, but we offer all of our same brochures and programming information here at the Trail Mix stores. We have volunteers that are always working here who are just so knowledgeable and advocates of our national park. I mean, they're giving their time to us. And then obviously the employees here are knowledgeable in our community and the park itself. The biggest thing people take away when they leave here is that they realize that they're giving back. So not only can you come in here and find just a quick snack or something from a local artist that you're supporting, you're also giving back to the national park by purchasing here.
You can check out Trail Mix daily, 10 to 5. Okay, coming up a little bit later in the show, we've got some really good stuff, including the wine mill. It's a good one.
It's one thing that surprised us, that people really caught on to the food too, and we're thrilled with that, but the concept of being able to share everything with the table.
Welcome back to our road trip here in Peninsula. If you would like to try another form of transportation, how about a bike ride? Century Cycle's right here in the middle of town. We'll get you that new set of wheels. Check it out.
Century Cycles is a local chain of 3 stores that have been in business for about 27 years now. We carry bicycles, all sorts of, from high-end road bikes to family-oriented type bicycles, clothing, accessories to go with those, all the fun stuff that tends to make cycling more enjoyable. We like to think we hit all levels of cyclists. We do kind of more specialized towards the family-oriented type of cycling, your hybrid bikes, your more comfort-oriented style bikes. Stuff that are better for the Metro Park trails, the towpath, and more casual riding. As far as 2 styles of bikes that are most popular, we have your traditional hybrid bike, which is a more upright style bike. I kind of categorize that towards a little bit better for families. Then we also have what we call a sport hybrid bike, a little bit more leaned over riding position, maybe considered a little bit more of an exercise piece of equipment versus the family style of just getting out and getting some fresh air.
A couple things were out of adjustment a little bit. Some bearings were a little loose.
we're a full service shop. We do sales, service, and we also have rentals. The biggest one we probably do here is flat tires. You pick up debris off a trail, off the road, or something like that. So we make the joke we're probably one of the fastest tire changing places in Northeast Ohio because of the amount that we do. So changing out tubes and tires is a big one, and just kind of tune-ups, checking over the bikes, checking shifting the brakes, making sure everything's working properly.
Just throw some new grease in there and adjust it properly. Running smooth.
We get all kinds of people here. We get out-of-town visitors that can't transport their bikes. We also have a lot of people that may not have the ability to store a bike in their home or transport it a lot, so we get those type of customers coming in here also. The bikes are pretty inexpensive to rent. It's $10 per hour. It's a great way to go out just for a couple hours and have a lot of fun seeing the park. Well, the towpath itself, the benefit is no traffic, so you don't have to worry about cars and distracted drivers and things like that. The other thing is there's a little bit more scenery. You see wildlife, bald eagles, deer, all kinds of little creatures out in the canals and stuff like that. Benefits to that, getting outside, getting some fresh air, burning some calories, getting that blood pumping, getting some exercise. One of the things I try and instill in people is not be concerned about the size and things like that as first. Try and be honest with themselves as to where they want to ride the bike. What do they see themselves doing with it? Do they see themselves getting into triathlons or races, or do they see themselves just riding with the family on some of the local paths? Trying to really answer that question the best they can. That way we can ask them the questions that will help them get to the right bike. Even as a novice rider, you might have been exposed to a mountain biking video, and that's what intrigued you into cycling, and so then you need to look at the wider tire bikes. Or, I used to cycle a lot and I got out of it, and I know I just want to ride the bike paths. And then we can, knowing again where the rider wants to go with that bike, we can help them choose what is the appropriate tire size for them. This is a job that you have to love. It's bikes. We get to sell bikes every day. We get to see that smile on people's faces when it's new bike day. That's one of the best things, especially when you get a 12-year-old kid getting their first bike and they're just so excited. That's what makes the job. It's that's the part you're like, okay, that's the fun part right there. You see people get so excited to get their first bike or a new bike and go out that door and know the adventures they might have on it.
Century Cycles has 3 locations here in Peninsula, in Medina, and in Rocky River. But all of that cycling might make you work up an appetite. But for this next stop, you will have to hop in the car. This is Dilly's Drive-In.
It's kind of a feeling of community. Like, there's families come here, 2 families at a time, 3 families at a time, and it all come here after a game, before a game, just on a Saturday, nice Saturday night. It's just the real community here. Well, they're going to see one of the Carhops pretty much running up to their car with a menu and with special sheet. And welcome to Dilly's. Turn their lights on for service, especially at this one. But we get a lot of people who don't know how to turn their lights off. Then that becomes, but we just keep going out to them. But turn their lights on whenever they need or want something, and you'll have a Carhop run out to them. We like to serve people 10 to 15 minutes after they order. As soon as the order is placed, we usually have the food out in 10 to 15 minutes. You've got chicken finger dinners. You've got a signature item, the double Dilly, which is a 1/3 pound of burger, 2 homemade sauces, one of which is a tartar, one of which is a barbecue, and then we've got pickles on that sandwich. We've got our Dilly dog, which is a very popular hot dog, 1/4 pound hot dog, homemade coney sauce, cheese, and homemade coleslaw on top of that as well. The most popular is going to be the double Dilly. And the way the owner does the specials, he does do a lot of double cheeseburgers, but we have like panini grilled stuff. We have a panini supreme. We have grilled cheeses, which are real popular with the kids. It's nostalgic, is what I'd like to say. Eating in your car. It's something that brings back those old days, family days. You know what I mean? It's a place to come to, and it's very fun. And the staff here, they're very fun. Okay, there's a bunch of jokesters. They run up to the cars. It's a lot of fun. These guys keep me young. This is not a corporate owned. one man owns this, one family owns this. And it's his livelihood, it's his life, and he wants to be with the community. It's a joy coming to work every day. Working with these kids, it's great.
Dilly's Drive-In is on State Road here in Peninsula, and guess what? They're open 7 days a week. Okay, after the break, we're gonna test your skills with some rock climbing.
This is designed for everyone. We have kids as young as 4 years old that weigh 35 pounds, all the way up to people who are like 75 years old. So there's a very wide range of people who do enjoy climbing.
Welcome back to New Day Cleveland. It's our road trip to Peninsula, and I'm visiting an old friend here, Stephen, at the wine mill.
At the wine mill. We are old friends.
Yeah, I tell you what, I snuck in here with my wife, it was about a year ago, I think. We're just sitting at the bar in a quiet little area, and I had no idea what the place was about, because sometimes you get in the countryside and it's all about somebody making wine here in the backyard and then drinking their wine. But your whole philosophy is a whole different thing, isn't it?
It is. We're not a winery. We carry about 70 different wines from all over the world.
Great wines too, and that's what my wife and I really noticed. It was terrific. So we're enjoying ourselves, trying a couple different wines. And if you like beer, they have some great beers here too, right?
And we really support the local breweries too, in the area.
So I noticed that. But what really surprised me is when the food started coming out, because it's small plates, casual food, but really creative, isn't it?
It is, and it's one thing that surprised us, that people really caught on to the food too, and we're thrilled with that, but the concept of being able to share everything with the table is really a nice way for people to come and enjoy the meal and then spend an evening with different foods.
Yeah. So you got stuff on the menu. Does that change at all? Do you get a crazy idea and go like, hey, I'm gonna make this?
We just have a new menu that came out yesterday, just because you guys are coming today. And then we always run different specials based on kind of what we feel like doing in the kitchen. When we do private parties, we have no banquet menus. So one of our big things is we plan each party personally and talk about what you want to do and what we're able to do the best.
Tell me about some of the food that comes out of the kitchen.
We have mason jar salads that you shake to dress. They're in quart jars, so plenty for 2 people. We do caprese flatbread pizzas. We do a Greek flatbread, and I think that's what you had.
It was great
when you were here. Sliders, we just added a beef brisket slider. We're doing chicken wings now that we're glazing with a Cabernet honey glaze at the end of them. So that's new to our menu.
What's that thing I see you making in the kitchen today?
That they just took out a peppered strawberry goat's cheese dip. So we're going to serve that to the ladies over here. Desserts, we do a huge, beautiful homemade carrot cake, and we've just added peanut butter pie to the menu.
So you're doing all the heavy lifting over here, talking to me about the place, the wine mill, but I see your partner Jim over there. He's just cruising and talking.
And that's just what Jim does. Jim just cruises around and talks. Jim is a developer, local realtor and developer in Hudson, and we've known each other for 30 years. The building was built before the Civil War.
That is one of the most amazing things about that. When you drive by here, I remember driving by this when I was a kid. There used to be a water park here, I think called Tamsin Water Park.
Tamsin Park, and this was an Indian and Eskimo gift shop that everyone from the area remembers, and they would come on field trips from school. And now they can come back and drink and see the building, so it's kind of fun.
And the old water wheel still turns.
Still turns, and we have the totem pole in the window as a nod to the Indian gift shop, because somebody stole the one that was outside. So we have to keep them inside now.
I want to make sure everyone remembers too, it's called the wine mill, but I mean, you've got all these great local beers. He likes to keep it up local. You have any drink you can imagine, but if you like to sample wines by the glass, this might be one of the best places in Northeast Ohio to stop.
Absolutely.
How many different wines by the glass?
15, plus you can do wine flights, 3 samples of any of our house wines.
It's terrific too, and it's sort of fun just to come down Old Route 8 here. We're on Old Route 8, and you can jump off at 303 or up at Steel Corners.
Seasons, come right down off the turnpike.
Yeah, so it's a little out of the way, so when you discover it, it is out of the way, great little cool find. You'll think you discovered it yourself, the wine
people
mill.
just love the history of the building. To be around since before the Civil War, it's held up much better than I have. So
well, you do great, man.
David, we appreciate you guys coming back. We love having you here.
Thanks a lot.
So, good, thank you.
All right, it's time to test your courage with some rock climbing. You can challenge yourself at Kendall Cliffs. Here's a look.
So Kendall Cliffs is a climbing gym. One of the cool things about our gym is we offer various types of climbing, such as the auto blaze over here. We have top rope climbing, bouldering, and lead climbing, so it offers a different variety of different types of climbing. So top rope climbing is where you have one person on one side of the rope climbing up, and then another person on the ground that's actually taking the slack out and just belaying them, which is the proper term for it, and they just take that slack out, catch any falls if they do, and then just lower them to the ground. Bouldering is a type of climbing where there's no ropes involved. You climb up to about 12 to 15 feet and then would normally have a crash pad underneath you, and that's what you would fall onto. This is designed for everyone. We have kids as young as 4 years old that weigh 35 pounds, all the way up to people who are like 75 years old. So there's a very wide range of people who do enjoy climbing. The first start would be with the equipment, showing them how to put on a harness, telling them how their shoes are supposed to fit, just the small intricacies of just setting up before you even leave the ground. Then we would take them over to the auto blaze, and we would show them how to clip into the auto blade properly, have them climb up roughly about 7 to 8 feet, just take a fall. People jump off bunk beds that are about that height. So just doing a small fall like that, just kind of getting comfortable with it. And then just kind of talking them through it, and letting them know you don't have to go to the top of the wall right away. You can work your way up, just get used to those different levels and that comfort, and just going from there. So we have 2 route setters that come in twice a week, and what they do is they'll take routes down that have been up for a while and they'll put up new ones. So each route is just based off of its color and the types of holds, how many holds there are, if the wall's slightly overhanging, just the features of the wall, will determine how difficult it is. We have stuff from the very easy range where it almost feels like you're just kind of climbing up a ladder, to very technical climbs where you do need certain technique to be able to get to the top of them. So there's a wide range of difficulties. So it also helps people at each end of the spectrum. Those who are just getting into it, they are able to climb the easier ones and kind of build that confidence and understand how it feels, to those who are more experienced trying to look to challenge themselves. We've got a strong base of people who do enjoy outdoor climbing as well. So it's kind of cool to be able to talk to them about the places that they've gone, specifically like the New down in West Virginia, Red River in Kentucky. My personal experience is from Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado. So it's kind of cool to have all these different experiences come together and be able to talk to these different people and kind of get inspired to go to different places as well. I get to enjoy sharing my passion for climbing with others. I get to teach classes, I get to work with groups, and then in turn it's cool because I also get to see that passion from others and it inspires me to do more. It's really cool being able to do these different types of climbings and become a all-around climber versus just specialize in one area. So being here at Kendall allows me to kind of grow both as a person and as a climber.
I'll make this easy on you. Kendall Cliffs is on Kendall Park Rd right here in Peninsula. You can check out their website for more information. We're back from this quaint little town in just a few minutes.
We have guests that have been here for 30, 40 years. They still come with us every Friday. They sit at our bar and they reminisce.
Welcome back to New Day Cleveland. Okay, I'm thinking you've had a good time outdoors, right? So you want to take a little break, go indoors. I've got just a shop for you. It's got a lot of history. It's called the Yellow Creek Trading Company.
We started in 1989, so we're coming up to 20 years. And Lynn and I were both doing antiques. We were in an antique shop and each one of us had a room, and somebody had a barn and wanted to know if we'd like to rent the space. And so Lynn and I moved into there together and with just antiques. And when the road closed, that cut the business off practically. When I was driving by, I thought, well, that this might be a nice place because it's such a wonderful location being in the park. And so we moved here, and that was about 15 years ago, and it has been great. We brought in a lot more lines. We used to have upholstered furniture. We don't anymore. And our latest change, I think, has been bringing in vintage items. So we sort of gone back to being in antiques also, and that's changed the look a lot. This is a wonderful building. It was built around 1875 or 80. It's always been a general store. The post office was over a part of it, and the blacksmith shop was in the back. The one strange thing that's hard for us to believe, that at one point there was a roller rink upstairs, which is pretty astounding because it's an apartment now, and you can hear the people walking, so I can only imagine what it was like when it was a roller rink. I think first of all, the thing I say is that it's a great place for gifts. If you need to go someplace for gifts for somebody, this is the place to come because you can find something for almost anybody. We have a great selection of cards. We carry some food items. We carry, I think some of our biggest sellers are clocks and lamps for some reason or another. We have a huge selection of clocks, and lamps are in and out of here all the time. When we first started, before we moved here, we were very country. And we've evolved from that. There's still some of that, but I'd say we're more traditional now. Well, I love driving here because I drive through the park, and it's just such a wonderful location, and always very busy with people. There's a train that comes. They come on the train, they bike. The bikers come back in their cars to buy stuff. The weekends are very busy. We have customers who have been original customers since 1989, and they still come, although they say they don't need anything anymore, but they come because they love being here, and a lot of them are really just our friends too, and some of the ones who come and say they just love to walk through are ones who have been coming for years.
The Yellow Creek Trading Company is on Main Street, and they're open 7 days a week. Our next stop, right down the street a little bit, is a place that's been around for 50 years, 3 generations. It's called Fisher's Café and Pub.
Well, when you're here in Peninsula, you gotta make a stop at Fisher's Café and Pub. Jeremy here has been here for about a year or so, right?
Yes.
But this place has been serving for 61 years.
61 years, yes.
That is a testament to the food, to the family, I think, and just to the business here, period.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a staple of the community.
And the funny thing is, 61 years ago, I'm sure the menu looked a little bit different than it looks now.
Absolutely. The menu actually started out with a burger, George's homemade chili, which we still serve today, and then ice cream. And it used to be a Model T Ford area. They tore that down and started off with a simple little cafe. And now here we are later, full restaurant with patio and bar.
So there's a lot of history on this land, period.
Absolutely.
Let alone what it has done for customers here. I'm sure this has honestly become, for a lot of customers, a staple. It's nostalgic because it's something they've been coming to for years.
For years. We have guests that have been here for 30, 40 years. They still come with us every Friday. They sit at our bar and they reminisce.
Yes.
Dick, which would be the second generation, comes in and he talks with them, and they talk about the lands and the restaurants and family and friends, and the community here is very close.
I love that. And you're right in the heart of Peninsula here, right downtown, right on Main Street. So shall we delve into the food?
Absolutely.
Okay, this burger, I mean, it's stealing the show right now.
That is our radar burger. It is a younger generation type of burger, I like to call it, because when the kids get this burger, it's served with a knife, of course. We cut it down the middle for them, and just to see the expressions on their face when they get it. It does have the onion rings, French fries, bacon, jalapenos, onions. It's all one big happiness.
I'm sure it gets the wow factor.
Oh,
when the
definitely
kids,
gets the wow factor.
When it comes on the table, the kids say, wow.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's one of our #1 selling burgers.
And then the fish. You gotta have some fish.
You have to have fish. It's Fisher's.
It's Fisher's.
It's Fisher's. Right now, especially during the season, we have catfish, we have grouper, and then we have your all-you-can-eat cod that's going on as well. But our blackened catfish is topped with a Jack Daniel's bourbon sauce that is absolutely phenomenal.
So out of the 3 dishes here, clearly that might be the hardest for me to bite into, so I have to try the easiest. So by default, I gotta try a piece of this fish. But it just flakes right off.
Absolutely.
Now, I like the salsa or whatever that's underneath of it, too.
That's
that looks
the
very
black
good.
bean corn salsa.
I gotta do it. That is incredible.
Isn't that amazing?
If you aren't a fish person, I would try that because it almost doesn't even, it just melts in your mouth. It doesn't have
fishy taste.
Not in the slightest.
Correct.
That's unbelievable.
the blackening seasonings that they use, and then the Jack Daniel's bourbon glaze kind of takes away from the fishiness of it.
Well, I know I have the plate away from me, but I'm just gonna bring it a little bit closer. I mean, it is worth it. Okay, so I gotta talk about the ribs though. They gotta be a hit too.
Ribs, absolutely. If they took ribs off of the menu, we would have to close our doors. It comes in a full rack and a half rack, and then the full rack comes with two sides. The smaller rack that you have in front of you comes with one side, and we run those as specials. So 2 days a week, they're $8.99 versus the original $12.99, and people flock.
I could only imagine.
But they're amazing. They're slow roasted, and then they're smoked, and then we top them with a dry rub, and then our signature barbecue sauce on top.
And why do I have a feeling that's not the only special you run here? I'm sure you have a lot going on all the time.
Every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So we always have different specials that go throughout. From avocado BLTs and the ribs to New York strip steaks. We have a yellowfin wrap. I mean, we do a lot of different specials.
Who walks in the door probably feels like they're part of the family.
You truly do. We make you, from the time you get here till the time you leave, you are part of the family. We cater to that.
I'll take that, Jeremy. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome.
Here.
Thank you.
We're going to go to commercial break. I'm going to finish my fish. When we come back, we have much more from Peninsula.
If you want it, we have it. Apricots, pineapple. We sell a lot of orange peel, lemon peel. Our buttercreams are a big seller. I use a lot of pure butter in our creams. No substitutes.
Welcome back to New Day Cleveland. We are taking you now to an art gallery in the heart of the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. This is Crooked River Gang.
The MD Garage was a gas station built in the mid-40s and operated here in the valley for, so I'm going to say the mid-80s, because the Cuyahoga Valley National Park bought this property in the 80s, and there was conversations, what are we going to do with this garage? And then it seemed to the powers to be, motivated by Don Getz, let's turn this into an art gallery. The Crooked River Gang is a group of artists, local artists from this area, who got together, and we show our artwork here from mid-April to the end of October. We're open on weekends and holidays from 10 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the evening. The spectrum of the talent is very high. Let me unabashedly say that. There's approximately 40 artists who are members of the Crooked River Gang. In this show, I think there's about 37 artists exhibiting their artwork. Many of our artists are members of the Ohio Watercolor Society, different art societies. They're instructors in different art clubs. The Park Service kind of gives us the responsibility of having a high quality show. So we take that responsibility very seriously. And if you look around, you'll see there's top quality artwork in this show. We really have three basic medias: watercolor, acrylics, and oils. There are some mixed media, but those are the three primary medias that are exhibited here. We have themes. Again, we have 6 different shows from April to the end of October, and each show has a theme. This theme for the opening of the show this season is Dawn Awakens in the Valley. So it's basically a springtime type thing. And in June, the theme will be the wildlife in the valley. And July is one of our more popular shows because we talk about national parks. So you can come in here during July and see, for example, a painting of the Grand Canyon, Yosemite Falls, Niagara Falls, the desert. So the National Park Show is really a very popular show. And the interesting thing is, we average maybe 35, 40 artists for each show. In this show alone, there are 150 paintings by all local artists for sale. And very reasonably priced, I might add. We see most visitors experience, and what the comments we get, here they came to the Cuyahoga Valley National Park to ride their bike or take a hike, and they stumble upon an art show. And they say, how refreshing is this? That is probably the most frequently commented thing.
I came to hike, I came to ride my bike, and stumbled upon this beautiful art show that they had no expectation of seeing, and they're pleasantly surprised.
Crooked River Gang is located in the MD Garage on Boston Mills Road.
Grabens Candies are handmade candies. We've been in business 64 years. Our formulas are from 1900. We make everything from scratch. It's from Europe, European. We make fondant creams. We make like 120 varieties. If there's something special someone wants, we can make it for them. We use a lot of butter. We don't use preservatives. We roast most of our nuts here. We get them in fresh. We do have milk-free products. Our dark chocolate is milk-free because there's a lot of people that cannot have milk or egg. And I am now working on, I hope to have it done probably this fall. We will be gluten-free also. Grabens came from Somerset, England. Grandpa Grabham started this business with my mother-in-law as a hobby, and it kind of escalated. And my husband took over, been about 47 years now. He studied when he got out of high school, and he was like the only area's confectionery chef. I can't think of anything if you want it, we have it. Apricots, pineapple. We sell a lot of orange peel, lemon peel. Our buttercreams are a big seller. I use a lot of pure butter in our creams, no substitutes. We make a lot of truffles. Our caramel's our own caramel recipe, and it won't pull your teeth out. We're like candy used to be, like years ago. My favorite's the buttercream and dark chocolate. Of course, we have our turtles and our caramel. Sea salt caramel's big right now. And our orange peel, our glacéed orange peel, is one of our biggest sellers. It's hard work. It's really hard work, and when you own your own business, you're here 24/7. You never know from one day what's going to happen. I just like giving people a good quality product because you cannot find it anymore. Well, without them, we wouldn't be here if we didn't have our customers. And most of our customers are really great. They're great people, and they've been coming here like as long as I've been here. And we have a lot of second, third generation coming in now that grew up on our chocolate. If you haven't been here before, most of my customers say just try it once and you'll never eat any other candy again. As I hear that all the time. So just come in our shop and visit with us. I have great employees. And go back in time. Come into Grabens.
We have a whole lot more New Day Cleveland coming up right after the break. Welcome back to New Day Cleveland. It's our road trip to Peninsula, and it's about time for some shopping, don't you think? Well, you like little antiques or knickknacks, those kind of things? You're going to like the Brown Rabbit.
Well, I moved to Peninsula years ago and had a dining room for the first time. And so I had to go around looking for a table for the dining room because I had lived in Akron and had an apartment and didn't have a dining room. And my mother-in-law said to me, why don't you call that secondhand dealer in Akron and ask them if they'll trade you some of your ringer-type washers, because everybody was leaving the apartment and leaving me their ringer-type washers because automatics were coming in. I called her up and she said sure. She came out, she got 3 of the ringer-type washers, and I got a round oak table that was solid oak. And then I started going around trying to find chairs. And just started in my house on Riverview Road, and started out with my grocery money, like $25. Made a terrible mistake. Some lady came in and she asked for Van Briggle china or pottery, and I went out and I said, oh yes, I can get you some. And so I only had $25 in my checking account, and the next week, through that week, I went out and tried to find all the Van Briggle, which is Colorado pottery that I could, and I found about 5 or 6 pieces. So I waited for her to come back, and she didn't come, and she didn't come. And so about 2 weeks later, I called her. I said, you know, I've got your Van Briggle pottery. She said, oh, that's nice, I'll be out. Well, I never saw her, but I learned a real good lesson. Don't buy anything for anybody. Just buy what you want and what you like. And if somebody comes along and buys it, you're ahead of the game, but just don't buy it particularly for one person. Oh, you can find jewelry, you can find pottery, you can find Halloween things, you can find silver cookbooks, and all kinds of sports memorabilia, license plates. Have some really neat, those are from the Cleveland Plain Dealer. Those were the front pages up there on the wall where when the astronaut walk on the moon, and Lindbergh and the splashdown. Those are neat to put in somebody's office or den. I kind of think those are neat. You meet a lot of interesting people, you know, and people come from all over, but the neatest, the funniest thing I should say is they come in and I say, where are you from? And some will say, well, you know, we're from Oregon, or we're from, you know, New Mexico, and we came to see the national park. Where is it? And I say, you're here. And they say, oh, and I think they were thinking they were going to see like Mount McKinley, or they were going to see, you know, the Grand Canyon, and it's not that kind of park. And it's kind of fun to see their expression because they're expecting to see something big, you know, landmark or something that nature has put in that's outstanding. And it's really an urban park. I would just say come and see if you're interested in looking around, or interested, some people call it junking, some people going, you know, out looking for antiques on the weekend, or treasures, or just come and then come to the shop, see if you see anything, you know, eat at the Winking Lizard, you know, eat at across the street is Fisher's, and just come and see Peninsula, period, and I think you'll have a good time.
The Brown Rabbit is right here on Main Street. They are closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, so keep that in mind. Hope you've enjoyed this quaint little town as much as we have. You know, there's so much to do here. You can do some shopping, you can go to some great spots to eat, but you can also enjoy the outdoors. The towpath is right here. You can do the hiking. There is so much to explore. It's a day trip, very easy, about a half an hour away from downtown Cleveland. And again, a quick reminder for you, right here at Fisher's Café and Pub, they're right near Blossom, so you can come here right before a concert too. Good little side note. I'm Natalie Herbeck on behalf of David Moss as well. We will see you on the next New Day Cleveland.